The night sky over South Korea was clear and full of stars. In a small observatory on top of a mountain, Dr. Jae-sum Kim sat hunched over his computer. His eyes were tired from staring at the screen for hours, but he couldn't look away. Something strange was happening. Dr. Kim was an astronomer. He spent his nights looking for new things in space. Usually, his job was quiet and slow. But tonight was different. A weird signal kept appearing on his screen. At first, he thought it was a mistake. Maybe his equipment was broken. But after checking everything 3 times, he knew it was real. The signal was coming from deep space. It wasn't random noise. It had a pattern. Dr. Kim's heart started to race. Could this be it? The thing scientists had been waiting for. A message from aliens. With shaking hands, he picked up his phone. He had to tell someone, but who would believe him? He decided to call his old friend, Dr. Eun-ji Cho. She was a scientist too, but she studied alien life, or at least the idea of alien life. Eun-ji, you need to see this, he said when she answered. I think we're not alone. Dr. Cho was skeptical at first, but when she saw the data, her eyes went wide. Jae-sung, this is big, she said. We need to tell the government. Within hours, the news spread. First to the Korean government, then to the United Nations. World leaders were woken up in the middle of the night. Emergency meetings were called. As the sun rose the next day, the whole world was buzzing with excitement and fear. TV screens everywhere showed the same thing. Alien Stijinanal DTKCT. In New York, at the UN headquarters, leaders from every country gathered. They all had the same questions. What did the aliens want? Were they friendly? Should Earth try to answer? Among the crowd was Soo-min Park. She was Korea's top diplomat. Smart and calm, she had dealt with many tough situations, but nothing like this. As the meeting started, everyone was talking at once. Some wanted to send a message back right away. Others thought it was too dangerous. Soo-min listened to everyone. Then she stood up to speak. The room went quiet. We don't know what this means yet, she said, but we can't ignore it. I think we should answer, but carefully. Her words made sense to everyone. The UN voted, and most agreed with Soo-min. They would send a message back to space. But what should they say? How do you talk to aliens? The best scientists and language experts were called in. They worked day and night to create a simple message, one that aliens might understand. Meanwhile, people on Earth waited. Some were excited, others were scared. In every country, people looked up at the sky more than ever before. Soo-min was put in charge of the response team. It was a big job. She had to make sure everything went smoothly. She also had to talk to the public to keep people calm. 5 days after Dr. Kim first saw the signal, Earth was ready to reply. The message was simple. It said hello, told the aliens a bit about humans, and asked why they were contacting Earth. The biggest radio telescope in the world was used to send the message. As it was sent out into space, everyone held their breath. Would the aliens answer? What would they say? Now, all they could do was wait. Soo-min went back to her office and looked out the window. The sky was getting dark. Somewhere out there, aliens had reached out to Earth, and Earth had answered. She thought about how everything had changed in just a few days. Whatever happened next, the world would never be the same. Humans now knew for sure. They were not alone in the universe. As she watched the first stars appear, Soo-min wondered what the aliens were like. Were they excited too? Scared? Did they look up at their own sky and think about Earth? For the first time in history, humanity was part of something bigger than just their own planet. It was exciting, but also a huge responsibility. Soo-min knew the real work was just beginning. She took a deep breath and turned back to her desk. There was so much to do to get ready for whatever came next. The story of humanity's first contact with aliens was just starting. and Sumin was ready to help write the next chapter. 2 weeks had passed since Earth sent its message to space. The world was on edge, waiting for a reply. Then, early one morning, it happened. Sumin Park was woken by a loud ring. Her phone was buzzing like crazy. She answered, still half asleep. "Miss Park, they're here," a voice said. Sumin sat up, suddenly wide awake. "The aliens?" she asked. "Yes," the voice replied. "They're in orbit around Earth." Sumin rushed to get dressed. As she drove to the UN building, she saw people pointing at the sky. There, visible even in the daylight, was a large, shiny object, the alien ship. At the UN, chaos ruled. Leaders argued about what to do. Some wanted to send up fighter jets. Others said that was too dangerous. Sumin called for calm. "They came in peace," she said. "We should meet them the same way." Just then, a message came from the alien ship. They wanted to send down a small group to talk. They asked to meet at an open field outside New York. The UN quickly agreed. Sumin was chosen to lead the welcoming team. With her were Dr. Ian-Ji Cho, the alien life expert, and General Ta-Wan Choi for security. They drove to the meeting spot, their hearts racing. A crowd had gathered to watch. Police kept them back. News cameras were everywhere. The whole world was watching. A bright light appeared in the sky. It grew larger and larger. Then, a small ship landed softly on the grass. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a hiss, a door opened. 3 figures stepped out. They were tall and thin, with blue-green skin and large, dark eyes. They wore simple, shiny suits. The middle one, who seemed to be the leader, stepped forward. "I am Krell," it said in perfect English. "We come in peace and urgency." Sumin stepped forward too. "I am Sumin Park," she said. "On behalf of Earth, welcome." Krell looked around at the crowd, then back at Sumin. "We have much to discuss," it said. "Is there a quieter place?" They moved to a nearby building set up for the meeting. As they walked, Sumin noticed how graceful the aliens were. They seemed almost to glide across the ground. Inside, they sat around a large table. Krell spoke first. "We thank you for answering our call," it said. "We have traveled far to seek your help." Sumin was surprised. "Our help?" she asked. "What could we possibly do for you?" Krell's large eyes seemed to grow sad. "Our world is in great danger," it said. "We created something we cannot control." Dr. Cho leaned forward, excited. "What did you create?" she asked. Krell turned to her. "A beast," it said. "We made it to help us, to be strong and smart, but it grew too strong, too smart. Now it destroys everything." The room was silent. General Choi spoke up. "And you want us to fight this beast?" he asked. Krell shook its head. "Not fight. Capture. Control. You humans are known for your—" It paused, looking for the right word. "Creativity. Your ability to solve problems in new ways." Sumin was confused. "Known? By whom?" "There are many civilizations in the galaxy," Krell said. "We have watched Earth for a long time. Your species is young, but special. You adapt. You overcome. That is why we came to you." The humans looked at each other, amazed. They weren't alone in the universe, and aliens thought humans were special. "Will you help us?" Krell asked. Its voice was filled with hope. Sumin knew she couldn't answer for all of Earth. "We need to discuss this with our leaders," she said. "Can you tell us more about this beast?" Krell nodded. It pulled out a small device and placed it on the table. A 3D image appeared in the air. It showed a creature like nothing they had ever seen. It was huge, with thick armor and sharp claws. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural intelligence. "This is what we created," Krell said. "This is what we cannot stop." As they stared at the image, Sumin felt a mix of fear and excitement. This was bigger than anything humans had faced before. but it was also a chance to prove what humanity could do. "We will bring your request to our leaders," Su-min said, "but I must warn you, this decision will not be easy." Krell nodded. "We understand, but please hurry. Our world does not have much time." As the meeting ended, Su-min knew the real challenge was just beginning. How would Earth respond to this plea for help? And if they agreed, how could humans stop a beast that an advanced alien civilization couldn't control? She looked at Krell and its companions. Despite their alien appearance, she could see the worry in their eyes. It was a look that needed no translation. A look that said, "Please help us." The fate of an alien world now rested in human hands, and the whole universe was watching. The news of the aliens' request spread fast. All over Earth, people talked about nothing else. Should humans help the aliens? Could they even do it? Everyone had an opinion. World leaders met at the UN to decide. Su-min Park stood before them, telling them what Krell had said. When she finished, the room was quiet for a moment. Then everyone started talking at once. Some leaders were excited. "This is our chance to show what humans can do," they said. Others were scared. "What if the beast comes here?" they asked. "We should stay out of it." The debate went on for hours. Outside, people gathered in the streets. Some held signs saying, "Help our space friends." Others said, "Earth first." It seemed like the world was split in two. Dr. Yun-Ji Cho, the scientist who studied alien life, asked to speak. She walked to the front of the room, looking nervous but determined. "I spent my whole life wondering if aliens exist," she said. "Now we know they do, and they need our help. We can't turn our backs on them." She showed pictures of the beast that Krell had given them. "Yes, it's scary," she said, "but think about what we could learn. This creature is like nothing on Earth. Studying it could help us in ways we can't even imagine." Her words made many people nod, but not everyone was convinced. General Taiwan Choi stood up next. His face was serious. "Dr. Cho talks about what we could learn," he said. "But what about the danger? We don't know anything about this beast. What if we can't stop it? What if it follows us back to Earth?" People started to look worried. The general continued, "Our job is to protect Earth. We shouldn't risk our planet for aliens we just met." The room was quiet again. Both Dr. Cho and General Choi had good points. How could they decide? Then, a young leader from a small country stood up. "I understand the fear," she said. "But isn't this why we went to space? To meet other beings, to help each other. If we say no, we're saying we're alone in the universe. I don't want to live in that kind of world." Her words seemed to touch something in everyone. People started to nod slowly. Su-min watched all this, her heart beating fast. She knew whatever they decided would change history. Earth would either reach out to the stars or turn away from them. Finally, it was time to vote. Each country had to decide, yes or no to helping the aliens. The voting took a long time. Some countries said yes right away. Others took longer to decide. A few said no. Su-min watched the numbers change on a big screen. It was so close. As the last vote came in, everyone held their breath. Su-min looked at the final count. She blinked, hardly believing it. By just a few votes, the answer was yes. Earth would help the aliens. The room exploded with noise. Some people cheered. Others argued. Su-min felt both excited and scared. They had made a huge decision. Now they had to figure out how to do it. She left the noisy room to find a quiet place to think. As she walked, she saw a TV showing crowds outside. People were hugging and dancing in the streets. They waved signs that said, "To the stars," and "Humans help." Su-min smiled, feeling proud of humanity. Yes, they were afraid. But they chose to be brave, to reach out instead of hiding. She found a window and looked up at the sky. Somewhere up there, Krell and the other aliens were waiting to hear Earth's answer. Su-min took a deep breath. It was time to tell them. As she walked back to send the message, Su-min thought about what would happen next. How would they stop this beast? Who would go? What would they find on the alien world? One thing was sure, nothing would ever be the same. Humanity had taken its first real step into the galaxy. Whatever happened next, they would face it together, humans and aliens, side by side. After Earth said yes to helping the aliens, things moved fast. Leaders from all over the world met to plan. They had to choose who would go on this dangerous mission. Su-min Park watched as they made a list of what they needed. They wanted the best soldier, the smartest animal doctor, and the cleverest inventor. It was like picking a team for the most important game ever. First, they chose Captain Eugene Lee. She was young, but very brave. She had led many hard missions on Earth. Now she would lead the first human mission to another planet. Next came Dr. Min Seo Kang. He knew all about animals, even weird ones. If anyone could understand the alien beast, it was him. Last was engineer Sung Ho Baek. He could make amazing weapons and tools. They hoped his inventions could help catch the beast. When they told these three they were chosen, they all looked surprised and a bit scared. But they also looked proud. They were going to make history. You leave in 1 month, Su-min told them. We need to get you ready fast. That month was the busiest anyone could remember. The whole world worked together to get ready. Captain Lee trained hard every day. She ran, climbed, and learned to use alien tools. She wanted to be ready for anything. Dr. Kang spent all his time studying the beast. He looked at the pictures Krell had given them over and over. He tried to guess how it might think and act. Engineer Baek worked day and night in his lab. He made new guns that could shoot nets. He built robots that could help carry heavy things. Each day he had a new idea. While they got ready, Krell and the other aliens stayed on their ship. But they sent down messages every day. They told the humans about their world and the beast. Each message made the humans more excited, but also more nervous. One day, Su-min visited the team. They looked tired but ready. How do you feel? She asked them. Captain Lee stood up straight. Ready to face whatever's out there, she said. Dr. Kang smiled. Excited to see a real alien animal, he said, even if it is trying to eat us. Engineer Baek held up his latest invention. Ready to show this beast what humans can do, he said. Su-min felt proud of them. They were brave and smart. If anyone could help the aliens, it was them. The day before they left, the team met the aliens face to face. Krell thanked them for their help. Our world owes you a great debt, it said. Captain Lee shook Krell's hand. It felt cool and smooth. We're glad to help, she said. That's what neighbors do. That night, no one slept much. How could they? Tomorrow they would leave Earth and fly into space. As the sun rose, a big crowd gathered to see them off. People cheered and waved flags. News cameras flashed. The whole world was watching. The team said goodbye to their families. There were hugs and tears. No one knew when they would be back. Then it was time. Captain Lee, Dr. Kang, and Engineer Baek walked up to the alien ship. It was big and shiny. It looked nothing like the ships humans had made. They turned to wave one last time. Then the ship's door opened. They took deep breaths and stepped inside. The door closed behind them. Everyone watched as the ship lifted off. It went up and up, getting smaller and smaller. Soon it was just a tiny dot in the sky. Then it was gone. Su-min looked up long after the ship had disappeared. Good luck, she whispered. Come back safe. As people started to leave, Su-min stayed. She thought about the team, flying through space right now. Were they scared? Excited? What would they find on the alien world? One thing was sure, the biggest adventure in human history had just begun, and the whole universe was watching. The journey through space felt both long and short to Captain Eugene Lee. For days, all she could see out the window was darkness and stars. Then suddenly, a new world appeared. Look, She called to Dr. Min Seo Kang and engineer Sung Ho Baek. They rushed to the window. The alien planet was beautiful. It had swirling blue and green colors, like Earth, but also strange purple spots. As they got closer, they could see cities that looked like shiny bubbles. Krell, their alien guide, spoke. "Welcome to our world," it said, but its voice was sad. As the ship flew lower, they saw why. Many of the bubble cities were broken. The green lands had big black marks. It looked like something big had stomped all over the planet. "The beast did all this?" Dr. Kang asked, his eyes wide. Krell nodded. "It grows stronger every day," it said. "We must hurry." The ship landed near a city that was still whole. As they stepped out, the humans gasped. The air felt thick and sweet. The ground was soft under their feet. Everything looked a bit purple. Alien people came to meet them. They looked scared but hopeful. They touched the humans gently, as if checking they were real. "Come," said Krell. "We will show you what we know." They went to a big building that looked like it was made of light. Inside, screens showed pictures of the beast. It was even scarier than in the photos they had seen on Earth. The beast was huge, bigger than any animal on Earth. It had thick, dark fur and long claws. Its eyes glowed red. But worst of all, it seemed to be smart. Very smart. "It can open doors," Krell explained. "It can use simple tools, and it learns very fast." Captain Lee frowned. This would be harder than they thought. Dr. Kang studied the beast's pictures carefully. "How does it eat? Sleep? We need to know everything," he said. Engineer Baek was already drawing plans. "Maybe we can make a trap," he said. "Something it's never seen before." For hours, the humans asked questions and made plans. The aliens watched in wonder. They had never seen beings work so fast or think in such strange ways. As night fell, the sky turned deep purple instead of black. Captain Lee asked to see the damage up close. Krell looked worried but agreed. They flew in a small ship over the land. The humans were quiet as they saw the destruction. Whole forests were flat. Lakes were dry. It was worse than they had imagined. "There!" shouted Dr. Kang suddenly. "Look!" Everyone turned. In the distance, something big was moving. It was the beast. Even from far away, it looked huge and scary. The alien flying the ship started to turn away. But Captain Lee said, "No. Go closer." "But it's dangerous," Krell said. "We need to see it," Captain Lee explained. "To understand." Slowly, they flew closer. The beast didn't seem to notice them. It was busy breaking open a big rock. Looking for food, Dr. Kang guessed. They watched it for a while. The beast was scary, yes. But watching it, the humans started to see things. How it moved. How it thought about problems. "It's not just destroying," Engineer Baek said softly. "It's surviving. Exploring." Dr. Kang nodded. "We made animals like this on Earth long ago," he said. "Big, strong, smart. They were called dinosaurs." Captain Lee listened to them and watched the beast. Slowly, an idea started to form in her mind. Maybe they had been thinking about this all wrong. As they flew back to the city, she turned to her team. "I think I have a plan," she said, "but it's not going to be easy. And the aliens might not like it." Dr. Kang and Engineer Baek looked at her, waiting. "We're not here to kill a monster," Captain Lee said. "We're here to save a new form of life." The others looked surprised, then slowly nodded. They had come to help, and that's what they were going to do, even if it wasn't the help anyone had expected. The next morning, Captain Eugene Lee told the aliens about her plan. "We're not going to hurt the beast," she said. "We're going to catch it." The aliens looked shocked. Krell spoke up. "But it's too dangerous, too strong." Engineer Sung Ho Baek stepped forward. "That's why we'll use our brains, not just strength," he said. He showed them his new invention, a gun that shot a special net. "This net is super strong," he explained, "but it won't hurt the beast. It will just hold it still." Dr. Min Seo Kang nodded. "Once we catch it, we can study it, maybe even talk to it." The aliens whispered among themselves. They didn't look sure, but they had asked for human help, so they agreed to try. The team spent days getting ready. They made plans and tested their tools. Captain Lee studied maps of the area where the beast lived. Dr. Kang prepared medicines that might calm the beast. Engineer Bake kept improving his net gun. Finally, they were ready. They flew out to the wildlands where the beast roamed. The place was a mess. Trees were knocked down. The ground had huge claw marks. "It was here recently," Dr. Kang said, looking at some fresh tracks. They followed the tracks. Everyone was quiet and careful. They knew the beast could appear at any moment. Suddenly, they heard a loud roar. The ground shook. Trees fell down nearby. "It's close," Captain Lee whispered. "Get ready." They moved forward slowly. Then they saw it. The beast was even bigger up close. Its fur was dark and shaggy. Its claws were as long as a person's arm. Its eyes glowed red. The beast saw them too. It let out another roar and started to charge. "Now," shouted Captain Lee. Engineer Bake fired his net gun. The net flew out, big and wide. But the beast was smart. It jumped to the side, and the net missed. Again, Captain Lee yelled. Engineer Bake shot another net. This time, it caught the beast's back leg. The beast roared and tried to break free. "It's working," Dr. Kang said. "Keep going." They shot more nets. Each one caught a different part of the beast. Soon, it was wrapped up tight. It fought hard, but couldn't break free. The team moved closer, ready to give it medicine to make it sleep. But then something strange happened. The beast stopped fighting. It looked at them with its big red eyes. And then it spoke. "Why?" It asked in a deep, rumbling voice. "Why hurt me?" Everyone froze. They couldn't believe it. The beast could talk. Dr. Kang stepped forward slowly. "We're not trying to hurt you," he said. "We want to help." The beast looked confused. "Help? But I am alone. Scared. No one helps me." Captain Lee felt her heart sink. They had all thought the beast was a monster, but it was just lost and afraid. She knelt down near the beast. "We're sorry," she said. "We didn't understand. Can you tell us who you are? What happened to you?" The beast was quiet for a moment. Then it started to tell its story. It had been made in a lab, it said. The aliens wanted it to be big and strong to help build things. But it grew too fast, got too smart. It was confused and scared, so it ran away. "I didn't mean to break things," the beast said. "I just didn't know how to live in this world." As they listened, the humans realized this wasn't a monster hunt anymore. It was a rescue mission. They were here to save a scared, lonely creature who just needed help. Captain Lee stood up. She looked at her team, then at the aliens. "Our mission has changed," she said. "We're not here to catch a beast. We're here to help a new form of life find its place in the world." The beast's red eyes seemed to glow a little less fierce. For the first time, it looked hopeful. And the humans knew their real work was just beginning. The next few days were busy and exciting. Captain Yu-Jin Lee and her team worked hard to help the beast, which they now called Gentle Giant. Dr. Min Seo Kang spent hours talking to Gentle Giant. He learned that it was very smart but didn't know how to use its strength carefully. "It's like a big, strong child," he told the others. "It needs to learn." Engineer Sung Ho Baek had a great idea. He made special gloves for Gentle Giant's huge hands. These gloves made it harder to break things by accident. Gentle Giant liked them a lot. The aliens watched all this with surprise. They had thought the beast was a monster. Now they saw it was just confused and alone. Captain Lee talked to the alien leaders. "Gentle Giant isn't bad," she said. "It just needs a home, and a purpose. At first, the aliens were scared, but slowly they started to understand. They saw how Gentle Giant was gentle with the humans. They watched it learn to be careful. One day, a big problem happened. A dam that held back water was breaking. The aliens were afraid their city would flood. They didn't know what to do. Captain Lee had an idea. "Gentle Giant is strong," she said. "Maybe it can help fix the dam." The aliens weren't sure, but they agreed to try. Everyone went to the dam. Gentle Giant looked at the cracking wall. It seemed to understand the problem. Carefully, using its new gloves, Gentle Giant picked up big rocks. It put them in the cracks of the dam. It worked slowly and gently. The humans and aliens watched in amazement. After hours of work, the dam was fixed. The city was safe. The aliens cheered. Gentle Giant looked happy and proud. This changed everything. The aliens started to see Gentle Giant differently. It wasn't a monster. It was a helper. Over the next weeks, Gentle Giant did more good things. It helped rebuild broken buildings. It cleared fallen trees. The aliens began to smile when they saw it coming. Dr. Kang worked with alien scientists to understand Gentle Giant better. They learned how to make it comfortable and happy. Engineer Blake made more tools to help Gentle Giant work safely. Captain Lee felt proud of her team. They had done more than catch a beast. They had shown a whole world how to be kind and understanding. As their time on the alien planet came to an end, the humans got ready to go home. The aliens threw a big party to thank them. Krill, the alien leader, stood up to speak. "We asked for help to stop a monster," it said. "Instead, you taught us to understand and care. You humans are wise in ways we never imagined." Gentle Giant came to the party too. It was gentler now, careful not to break anything. It looked at the humans with its big eyes. "Thank you," it said in its deep voice. "You gave me a home." Captain Lee felt tears in her eyes. She turned to her team. "We did it," she said. "We solved the problem in a way no one expected." As they got on their ship to go home, the humans waved goodbye. The aliens waved back. Gentle Giant raised its big hand in a gentle goodbye. Flying back to Earth, Captain Lee thought about their adventure. They had gone to help aliens catch a beast. Instead, they had shown a whole world how to be kinder and more understanding. "That's the real power of humanity," she said to her team. "Not our strength or our smarts, but our ability to care, to understand, and to find new ways to solve problems." As Earth came into view, the team felt excited to share their story. They knew it would change how humans thought about aliens, about strange creatures, and about themselves. They had gone into space as heroes. They were coming home as teachers of kindness and understanding. And that, they all agreed, was the greatest adventure of all.